The program behind schedule. Hello, and thank you for joining the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Today on the program, federal government tackles Zamfara state governor on alleged politicization of insecurity. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Emeka Madunagu. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. The street trading mentality of Nigerians always pitches them against governments. In another instance, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has issued a 2-week ultimatum to traders to vacate the rail tracks of the ongoing Red Line Rail project, which will link Onigbo to Marina. During a tour of the project at the Agege station, Governor Sanwo-Olu noted that the route is for transportation and not for trading. He warned them that a team will come to enforce compliance and seize items of any trader that violates the directive by next week. Let's hear from the governor.
It is government road, that's why government built everything. It is for transportation. It's not for market. It is not for market. Oṣù Jao, Oṣù Sinyo, Oṣù Notice ìjọ méjì péré. Àwọn tó ń ta ẹ̀dìyẹ, mo pẹ̀ pálápàlá lọ máa kó lọ́sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ yìí. Báyìí lè dúró bí yo, kò ṣeé ṣe, ìjọba mo fi wá fúnra mi. Kò ṣeé ṣe o. A lè níjọba ká fi owó ribiribi ṣe kókó bá, ká má lè lo. Kí ẹ gbọ́ mi, mo ti sọ fún yín o. Nítorí ẹ̀ wọ́n máa fi sínú news, máa fi sínú paper. Àfẹ́ kí ọ̀gọ́gọ́ kú. Bí trade bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́, ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá náà máa pa bí èèyàn kan máa kú sí mi ò fẹ́ wàhálà. Gbogbo ìwà mo dẹ̀ máa block market yẹn, wọn ò ní ráyè bá bí mọ́. Mo ti sọ o.
Told some people that are selling, that are working on the rail corridor that it will be zero tolerance. We've given notices, we've appealed to them, you were there, you saw it, and we need to clean up all of the entire rail corridor so that it can be free for real passenger movement when they do start. You know, it's going to be a change in our attitude, in our way of life. You know, and because this rail track is agreed, meaning it's not elevated that we have on the blue line. So we have a lot of work to do to ensure that people are not in any form on the rail track. We have taken a view and a decision that we will, especially maybe 500 meters to almost a kilometer, you know, to the train platform itself, we probably need to do concrete wall to be able to secure the passengers, to be able to secure the citizens from themselves.
I think Governor Sanwo-Olu will need to take, a firmer stand and on this, guys, because the rail tracks, if you look at the accident that has, occurred in Lagos State in time past, these activities on rail tracks in Lagos, now that we are going to have the red line across that place, that thing is going to be powered by electricity, and it's going to be extremely dangerous to even have any form of activity around that place. So, without even talking about alternative, those guys must quit.
No, they have to quit. They are putting their lives at risk. They are trying to continue what they have done for years in the Oshodi area, in this new rail corridor. And we just can't allow that to happen. This is electric train. It's not like what they've been used to. So people will lose lives if they are permitted to remain along that rail corridor. Government must move them away from that place. If it needs to use force, it has to do it, because the alternative is loss of lives. All these market women, these illiterate market women, they don't know that this kind of train is different from the ones that they've been used to. So, and when people begin to lose their lives now, people will jump on the fatalities recorded to start attacking government. What? Government has done its bit to make transportation a lot conducive in Lagos. But we can't allow people to be trading on the rail lines. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. Remember the story of the corps member who was crushed on the rail line in the Oshodi area some years back. It was a really perplexing story. We don't want this sort of thing to happen. So as the governor has promised to block their entry point to the rail corridor, I will encourage him to do that quickly, because some of our people are very headstrong. They don't listen.
Because we asked you that, what do you want them to? What do you want them to?
But it's not a market. It's not a market.
They'll start, you know.
It's not a market. Any sensible person knows that you don't trade on the rail tracks. Where in the world do they do this sort of things? We see pictures from even countries that are far lowlier than Nigeria. We don't see people trade on rail tracks. What's the point in saying they don't know where to go? When markets are built, they won't use those markets. They prefer to. Now, if you are going to Akute, you are coming through Baja, you know there's a dual carriageway constructed in that Kosoko area. Just try to use that dual carriageway around 9 p.m. You will be struggling to create a pathway for yourself. Okada riders and traders believe that it was constructed for them.
Aggregate bus stop too.
Right on the road,
at the Defense Cinema, they're taking it over.
They are trading.
Yes, they are trading.
The portion that is left for vehicles is very narrow. Yeah. I use that road. I go home. I use that route most times. You see, you have to take your time. Take your
time. Yes.
Allow them to. Okada riders have turned it to a parking lot. They've taken 3/4 of the road, so they leave the rest for you. In daytime, you see currency merchants. They stay on the road to do business. They are standing. So you even struggle to be able to use that road. I don't understand. How can government build a dual carriageway and you can only find space to pass? It's crazy.
If you are building a mega city and we want to achieve this with this rail track, red line, blue line, and from that Iju Waterworks, that means from down. So that means commercial activities must stop.
No, it's not that they must stop, but you need to just reallocate them, move people away. You know, it's not easy for people to change their old ways. You know, they've been used to the Lagos of the yesteryears where people could trade on the rail lines, and then when a train was coming, you know, of course, they expected the train driver would blare his horn and they would leave after the train has passed. But things are changing. No, sorry, I said they are used to the old Lagos. But this is the new. It was even dangerous. It was dangerous, but even today, there isn't even any chance at all to stay on the rail track because it's electrified. So I think the community leaders need to do a lot. Traditional rulers need to do a lot to sensitize the people, because the governor coming to tell them and all of that, I mean, he must have been exasperated, maybe frustrated at why the people must have talked. So definitely it's good that he has said he's going to build a wall, you know, to block off those people. But I think also other segments of society should help the governor, should help the state government, so that, you see, people can gradually adapt to the changing realities of the Lagos environment. You know, it's no longer business as usual. This will help people a lot. So there are markets in all those areas. Let them find their way into those markets. They abandon those markets and come to the rail tracks, believing that, you know, maybe when the passengers are light from those trains, they will buy those things. But if those markets can be rooted in such a way that people can, those who want to buy things from the markets can find their way into those markets, good and fine. But really, the sensitization must be continuous so that people don't end up committing suicide.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, promised to clean the organ stable at the ministry, and he is on it. The minister has sacked the heads of 21 parastatals agencies and government companies of the FCT administration with immediate effect, according to a statement by the Director of Press in the office of the Minister, Anthony Ogunleye. Appointments into the offices will be made in due course. Jide, Wike, action.
Yes, I want to believe that we couldn't have told these people to go without a reason. I'm sure he was not impressed with their track record. They would have looked into the files of some of them, and we have to tell ourselves the truth. His own methods are different compared to those who have been FCT ministers before now. Look at the FCT, for example, has these luxury buses. They have a good number of them. Somebody once sent a video to me. He said, in this critical time that we need these buses to be on the road to ease the transportation pains of our people. You don't see them on the road. But during weekends, they loan those vehicles out to revelers, to people who want to use them to take people to go and have Owambe and all that. Sometimes even away from the FCT area. So, and he's asking, said, why can't they use those buses at this time? How do you have dozens of buses, but the people for which they are meant, the people that they bought them for, they have no access to them. But you can give them out to people on a kind of higher purchase, just for the weekend, for their events and all that. This is what is happening. The guy even did a video. He did a live recording. He recorded himself live, you know, showing me the array of vehicles of the FCTA that you don't see on the road, but they are prepared to give them out to people in exchange for wads of naira notes, while workers and other categories of people who are struggling, who are agonizing over high transport costs, they are unable to make use of them. So why did you buy them in the first place? You certainly didn't buy them for rich people who want to convey people to their events and all that. I mean, I don't know what's going on. So that is just one example of indiscipline, of inefficiency that shouldn't be happening at the FCT. The man has made it clear that, look, I am not going to tolerate certain things. And somebody wrote the other day to say, oh, the president will stop him. The president will not allow him to do some of the things that he promised to do because the president will be chasing re-election and all that. Didn't Obasanjo know that El-Rufai was doing what he was doing? Did Obasanjo get in the way? Now the FCT is thoroughly distorted. You need to go to FCT and see. At night you are driving around the FCT.
No street lights. Even manholes.
Yes.
Manhole covers. Stolen.
And in some places you are even seeing potholes, even little craters in some parts of FCT, things that were unheard of. So there's a lot of inefficiency that is going on. And if the man finds it difficult to work with the people that he has inherited, he has to find a way.
Yeah.
Have we not seen, even in NNPC, some people have been out to go on a compulsory retirement? So many people. The same thing has happened in the CBN. All those directors were told to go. Because you cannot say that Emefiele has 5 heads and that he was the only one doing all of the things that were happening there. Perhaps some of the deputy directors and deputy CBN governors were even the people encouraging him to do some of those anti-people policies that brought some people to their deaths. So what the man has done, I guess, okay, now I can see MDC of Abuja Urban Mass Transport Company. Do you see evidence of mass transit at work in Abuja?
At all.
Whereas some years back, you will see those red buses conveying people. There are buses.
And then the green buses too.
There are buses. If our correspondent goes to that place now, you will see so many buses. But you don't see them on Abuja roads taking traumatized drivers, workers.
Commuters, yes.
Another commuters up and down. You don't see them.
Yeah.
And people are spending a lot of money to go to work. It's tough on people. Whereas you can actually use those buses to ease their pains. Look at what Zulum has done. Farmers, their buses are there. You see the story that I brought. The farmers use those buses to get from one point to another for free. Come on, we are not even saying let them use them for free in Abuja. But let people be able to use these things.
Have access to this.
Abba.
Omega, when you want to look at it for efficiency, they will need to do this kind of thing to get results.
To me, Abuja is an overpriced city. Too many artificial things about Abuja. The rent, the transport, and these things. How big is Abuja? But there's deliberate inefficiency to make sure that the dwellers of Abuja go through excruciating pain to pay rent, to commute, to even to do anything. And it should not be so, because this is the federal capital. It's a capital that is a city that should welcome every Nigerian, where every Nigerian should have a sense of belonging. But when you make things so difficult for people, they'll run away to other places. They won't be attracted to the federal capital. And it's very wrong. I know all over the world, yes, people might say that federal capitals are often expensive places. But yes, there are districts like that that are expensive. But it's not everywhere that should be as expensive as that. Definitely, I think a lot of things Abuja has really gone down. The FCT has really gone down. I mean, a lot of things need to be set, need to be changed. There's a serious change needs to happen in the FCT so that the city can regain its lost glory. I mean, the FCT of yesteryear was a very lovely place, but what is going on? With all the construction, all the roads and everything, who are those to use the roads? Is it not the people living in the FCT? So you roll out the buses. There are a lot of things, even land administration, a lot of other things. Yes. And I mean, they need to be put in order so that the city can be welcoming to every Nigerian and foreigners.
And when you want to look at it, ultimately, look, if Wike is not firm, if you can't see this through, they won't allow those reforms.
No, they won't. They won't. And the truth is, he needs the people who can really work with him. He needs his kind of people.
Understand?
Yes. That's why you see in football, you hire a coach, he brings his technical team. Sometimes people who have been working with them for donkey years, his goalkeeper trainer, his physical trainer, these are people familiar with his methods who will help him to achieve his dream, because it's not a job for him alone. And the problem for us in our country is that we give people appointments, but we don't challenge them. Don't give them KPIs. So they think that, okay, even if they fail, their jobs are guaranteed. Heads need to roll where we see clear evidence of failure, because you are given that job for a reason. It's in our country that people are rewarded with extensive stay in office even when they are manifest failures. I mean, we have to stop this kind of behavior. If we find it difficult, if he has assessed those people, he has called for their files, and he can see that, no, these are not people who can work with me. Honestly, I won't blame him. And I expect that where you put your foot down, you want to ensure that there is efficiency, the president has to back you. Don't say, no, the president is going to stop him, as if they had meetings with him and the president. You just open your mouth and talk. You shouldn't stop somebody who is doing the right thing. Abuja needs to be fixed. Abuja is a lot worse than it was before. You can see that. So let's find someone. I mean, it will happen. I'll be happy to see someone help us make Abuja the winner that it used to be, so that it will be an FCT that is the pride of every one of us.
All right. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout.
Unwrap joy. Unleash taste.
Omo, I always thought that trading was for people who say you get brain or they get bar. Until my guy linked me up with consummate traders. That's how I started chasing my dream. Omo, these guys funded me. They gave me tools, skills, and formats. They didn't just leave me on my own. And before I knew what was happening, boom! My first trading was successful. I started balling and chopping life beyond my imagination. And I even chased those dreams that seemed bigger than me. What next? Of course I had to pay it forward by showing others the right way to trade. We fund, you trade, we pay. Consummate traders.
Kindly sign up with Consummate Traders today at www.consummatetraders.com.
Thank you for staying with us. Jide, wrapping up on this?
Yes, I want to see Abuja change for good, honestly. And if Wike can make that happen, it will be my hero. I want to see changes. I know that his methods are unorthodox, but most people who achieve results, their methods are unorthodox. That is a fact. If you want to be like, you say, okay, Jide Tense, Kilonse TVC. You say, we don't say. They say that now. You think they don't say that? Yoruba will say, the enemy will never praise you for killing a big grass cutter. You say, this grass cutter is skinny. They will never see anything good in you. So you don't need them to praise you. And that's what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said, human praise diminishes me.
Yes.
The human praise diminishes me. And he pointed to the fact that some of the greatest exploits in human history were executed in the realm of the minority. He talked about Jesus Christ. They never liked him when he was on earth. Today, he has more followers than Twitter or X, or what do they call this now? The same thing with Muhammad. Muhammad was not loved. They even wanted to kill him. He had to flee. But today, those are the two most dominant religions in the world. People that were condemned to in death, they are heroes. That's the way we are. If you are doing something good, they won't like you.
Yeah, the point is that, you see, there is so much inefficiency in the Nigerian public service that's just allowed to fester because, people don't want to rock the boat, people don't want to ruffle feathers, and it should not be that way. Because when you even look at some of the parastatals, you wonder, are these parastatals even really existing?
Like the one you mentioned now.
Abuja Broadcasting Corporation. I mean, where? Have you been wondering how? When you are in Abuja and you tune your radio or you put on TV, you don't see such a station. So what is going on? How come people are drawing salaries without being seen anywhere? So Wike should make things happen in FCT so that it can be a more enjoyable city.
Yeah. All right, moving on now. The Nigerian military is intensifying the onslaught against criminals terrorizing the southeast. The military recorded another victory in the fight when the aircraft under the air component of Operation Udokai 2 carried out several strikes on locations of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the Eastern Security Network, ESN, in Nnewi South local government area of Anambra State and Okigwe local government area of Imo State. According to the Air Force spokesman, Air Commodore Edward Gabwet, the strikes at both locations achieved their intended outcome. This, I've been seeing videos of these ESN guys, some 15, 20, carry AK-47, sometimes carry RPG, and sometimes confiscating from the military and sacking checkpoints. And I know that, look, the level of violence.
Killing soldiers in the last
the level of violence,
weeks.
Yes.
The killing soldiers, I've seen gory videos. And as I always say about the military, or to the military, if people take the battle to you, they slaughter your men and women. If you cannot retaliate, if you can't come up with proportional volume of violence, then they will think that, look, we have to continue doing this to these guys have given up, these guys have surrendered. All this, the Nigerian forces, equipped with taxpayers' money, mandated to protect each and every one of us. The army cannot be seen to wither in the face of any form of onslaught from non-state actors. They don't have the weapons at your disposal. They don't have the training that you have. So there's no reason to fear them. There's every reason to exterminate them. People can't move freely in some parts of the Southeast. And they do not discriminate. We've seen politicians and people who went home last Christmas who never returned home. There's a millionaire based here in Lagos who went home and was kidnapped, and invariably they asked for ransom. Ransom was paid only for them to deposit his corpse somewhere for the family to come and pick. These are not people who deserve to live in our midst. So the armed forces have a duty to go after these people. You don't have to wait until they launch an attack. Once you have actionable intelligence pointing at where they are, pointing at who they are, then send the Tucanos. I'm happy that Tucanos are now involved in the South and in the Southeast. So send the Tucanos. It cost us a lot of money to buy those killing machines, and they are meant for the enemies of the state. Use them against the enemies of the state. The rubbish that we are hearing, oh, today Bello Tuji will say this, Bello Tuji will say that. A boy under 30 terrorizing a country, Dogo Gidetu. I mean, we cannot give these guys a reason to feel that whatever they do to their countrymen and women, they will get away with it. So ESN, IPOB, enforcing sit at home and their other criminal desires, they need to be dealt with. This kind of attacks have to be sustained.
Okay, Emeka, these guys, the visual I just saw, at the time they started, some people were living in denial, calling them unknown gunmen. Now we know that there are people from that area that have been decided to be wreaking havoc, not on outsiders, terrorizing your own people, killing your own people. I don't understand the ideology behind that kind of fight.
Yeah, you know, it's the unfortunate situation we found in the Southeast. People have now taken the agitation, you know, they've now turned it to an avenue for business, an avenue for terrorizing people, an avenue for raising funds from around the world, claiming that they are fighting for the actualization of Biafra. Whereas, what are they doing? They're just making life unbearable for the people. And they are being piloted by Simon Ekpa, whose group is called the Autopilots. Because he insists, he insists that he will not listen to Nnamdi Kanu, who is detained. Imagine Nnamdi Kanu, who is in detention. He insists he will not listen to him, even though Nnamdi Kanu has said, no more sit at home.
Yes.
He has denounced the violence, but this fellow continues to incite to incite violence. He continues to incite, okay, 2 weeks sit at home. Okay, we don't want number plates from Nigeria on vehicles in the south. Come on, for how long can you continue this reign of brigandage, till you now get to totally destroy the Southeast, socio-economically, politically? For how long? But again, you also have to blame some of the politicians in the Southeast, the leaders in the Southeast, they should be able to put their foot down, reach to some of these guys, some of these misguided youths who are being recruited for some of these things. Because you can't just fold your arms and then allow just the federal government to do, to come in to do things. You should be able to do things by yourself. But a station where you allow cultists to move around so anybody can just put on IPOB regalia and call himself IPOB or ESN. I mean, these things need to be dealt with very seriously. But also, I would like to appeal to the government that, you see, when these attacks occur, the idea that wherever these attacks occur should be attacked by the military, I think is really causing a lot of anger in the Southeast. Look at what happened in Mbano recently. Unfortunately, soldiers, policemen, civil defense were killed. And soldiers allegedly came back and it destroyed some places there. So I think it's better. Deal with it. It's good the way they bomb these places, locate their hideouts and deal with them. Because the civil populace are also being terrorized by these people. So if you come and destroy the businesses of people, destroy their shops and all that, destroy their homes, what are you trying to say? These people are terrorizing them. And then you that are supposed to be the defenders of the people, you're also terrorizing the people. It doesn't help matters. I think government should actually work with the people, the civil populace, to deal with these threats to security. And definitely, the war is winnable. Also, I will also once again appeal for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. It should be considered. Igbo leaders have been calling for his release. It should also be speedily considered because it will help to put an end to all of this.
Julian, ultimately, when you look at the tactics so far, and you've seen the violence, you've seen the Monday sit at home, I don't even know the situation. Maybe they've succeeded in cancelling the sit at home on Mondays, because I know the military waded in, and I don't know, maybe they've restored the confidence of residents to come out every Monday now.
Even if it will take a while before people summon total courage, because there are many people who are still terrified. As much as they hate this idea of sit at home, they don't want to be caught in the crossfire. So they would rather stay at home as a precautionary step, not because they support those who instituted it in the first place, but just to be sure that, okay, nothing will happen to them. Yes, they would rather stay in their home. So government has a lot of work to do to sensitize people, to encourage them to go about their businesses on those sit-at-home days. I know that there is some improvement. Enugu, some of the states, people are coming out a lot more than before, but they still need to encourage them. I know that the president of the military will make people feel comfortable to come out, because I remember when we went for the Nigerian Army Day celebrations in Owerri, there was even traffic gridlock on what was supposed to be a day of sit at home, because people saw that the military dominated the entire environment, so they didn't have any fear. And in fact, they told us to arrive on that day, Monday. Yes, they said, don't worry, nothing will happen. And we landed, and we went about without any fear. So,
all right. We'll take this other break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. We'll be right back after this time out.
Home from work, in the busy traffic, your car breaks down. Car horns blast. Your car is pushed aside. You call for help. Phone battery blinks and dies. You take a cab. Few miles, tire bursts. What a day. Frustrated, sweating, and tired. Nearing home, darkness envelops the street. Wow! Just one house is bubbling with life. brilliant lights, loud music, smiling wife, all welcome you.
We alone have light.
Yes, it's JRB Solar Energy Systems, my anniversary present to us.
No matter how dark life is, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar street lights and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. JRB, the sun is gonna shine on everything you do.
The rains are here again. Seasonal climate forecasts have revealed the possibility of flooding in several communities of Nigeria. Clear away solid wastes that block drainages and waterways to mitigate the risk of flooding in your area. Evacuate from flood-prone areas to safe higher grounds and report any flood incidents to emergency responders near you. Listen to weather forecast and comply to safety instructions. Disaster management is everybody's business. This message is brought to you by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. NEMA, for the sake of the distressed.
Thank you for staying with us. The same old story about a blame game is dampening the fight against insecurity in the Northwest. The federal government has taken a swipe at the Zamfara state government for allegedly politicizing the abduction of students of the Federal University Gusau. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, said the federal government is disappointed with Governor Dauda Lawal for saying rescue efforts were surreptitious. The minister insisted that no official of the federal government was engaged in negotiation with bandits. Meanwhile, students have called for relocation of some hostels in the university to Gusau, the state capital, to avoid further abduction. Let's share the story by TVC News' Theophilus Darafoy with you.
Students of the Federal University Gusau were abducted by heavily armed bandits last Friday. The latest abduction is the fourth time in 9 months, and some are still in the hands of their captors. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, is worried by the repeated abduction of students of Federal University Gusau. At a visit to support the school, the National Student Body issued a 2-week ultimatum to the university authorities to relocate all students from Sabangida and other unsafe communities to Gusau.
We have presented our demands to the management that, number one, we want the students living within these premises, which is their safety of their lives not guaranteed, move to the Gusau Metropole or any other institutions that have enough buildings to accommodate our students. They should review the decision taken so far concerning the students involved in the protest. We can't accept our students to be expelled day in, day out, because you are indirectly adding value to those bandits that are coming and attacking the Nigerian students. If we expel someone, we are not hoping for that. He may join the bad acts, and when they are coming back again, he will be part of the delegation to come and carry the Nigerian students.
Responding, the acting Vice Chancellor of Federal University Gusau, Ahmad Galadima, says the school authority, in collaboration with security agencies, are doing their best to ensure the safe return of all abducted persons.
The parent of the affected student should please remain calm and take this as a will of God. The state government, in collaboration with the security agencies as well as the federal government, are doing all necessary effort to make sure that these students are rescued unhurt. So please, the parents shall calm themselves. I have strong belief that this student will be reunited with their management, will be reunited with their family safely and in good health.
16 kidnapped victims have so far escaped from bandits' captivity days after the incident. Among them are 3 students and 3 staff of a construction firm who were abducted same day. Theophilus Darufai, TVC News, Gusau.
Insecurity, Jude, it's President Bola Tinubu must have to look at what's on ground, especially around the country. The state of insecurity is really
yes, worrying. Especially in the Northwest now. and some parts of the northeast, especially Borno State, the Goza area, attacks are taking place again almost on a daily basis. So it means that we have to do something quickly. Now, when students, especially female students, are kidnapped, abducted the way they were abducted in Zamfara, I expect the state government and the federal government to work together.
Yes.
If they don't get rescued, people will blame the federal government.
Yes, not trading blame.
That is what usually happens. And it's a federal university. It's not a state university. So if the federal government moves in, tries to take some steps to secure the release of these people, I don't think it is right to begin to blame them for taking such steps. That is what the minister is saying, that look, we try to rescue these people. We should be able to appreciate the efforts made in securing the release of some of them, instead of the remarks that you have made. I know that Governor Dauda Lawal means well. I've seen some of the steps that he has taken. He wants to really change the narrative in the state, but he has to realize that one big problem that he will face is insecurity.
We are ruled
insecurity is a big problem in Zamfara.
You must work with
it's
the federal
a big problem. You have to work with the federal government. This is not the time to say, oh, you want to blame them. You have evidence that they are negotiating. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It gets to a point that if you do not negotiate with those people, you will not get those people out. If you want to secure the release of abductees, you have to move quickly. Maybe before they take them, they get to their camp. Once they get to their camp, they will use them as human shield. And if you want to use force to rescue people, then you should be ready to lose a good number of those people. I mean, the Iranian example of the 1980s has taught everybody a lesson. That was why Jimmy Carter didn't get a second term. You cannot just imagine that you can use force. You are going to lose those people. So look at what happened with the train abductees. Some of them were able to pay the 100 million each that the Boko Haram people demanded. But there are those who could not. And
several months after.
They could not. And these boys suddenly released a video where they were beating them. People shed tears. President Buhari had to move in. He set up a committee, he called it just a committee, set up specifically to secure the release of those people. And that former, the critic who used to head our health insurance scheme, that professor, I don't remember his name now, he was the chairman of that committee. Maybe you should interview him about how they secured the release of the remaining people. But those terrorists, you are not simply going to put a Quran in your hand and preach to them, and then they will release people to you. No, they will never. So what government does not, I agree with the minister that federal government is not involved in negotiation because they don't even do it directly. The people, the Chibok guests that we secured, it was through the help of the Red Cross and the Swiss government. They used third party. They won't go and negotiate directly now. But you cannot leave them indefinitely. People are talking about Leah Sharibu. Do you think that if those boys said, okay, bring so millions, do you think we won't find a way to pay and get that girl out of that place? Yes. There are still close to 100 Chibok guests in captivity. Do you think they offer money? They tell us, okay, we'll release if we bring so money. Do you think we will not find a way to negotiate? Because the alternative is you won't get them.
What's the best approach now?
Yeah, the best approach is both the federal, state, local government, traditional rulers need to work together to deal with this insecurity. Because these terrorists are getting more emboldened. They are becoming bolder, and they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. The federal and state governments don't need to quarrel. They don't need to fight over this issue. I know the governor was saying that I think he felt that it shouldn't have been bypassed, maybe in one or two contacts that were made. But I found something curious in what the minister said, that communities that decided to engage in negotiations with some of these people, that, government commends them. But, the communities, are they negotiating out of free will or out of a state of hopelessness? I think that needs to be looked into. Otherwise, you may end up defeating the very purpose of negotiation. Definitely, whatever negotiations that communities may need to get involved in should involve the government.
No, not that. Those farmers negotiate with these people. They say, okay, to have access to your farm.
Yes, I know. Yes, in Niger State, yes. Yes, but on a recurring basis,
and some of those communities, when they negotiate, like that one that they gave traditional title the other day,
yes,
he stopped attacking them for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
That was what impressed the emir, and the emir sheepishly gave him the title. But you see, sometimes they say, okay, in exchange for not attacking you, pay us some money. They pay and they have peace for a whole year. They can farm, they can reap bountifully from their farms. Others who fail to negotiate, they will deny them access to their farm. And these boys are so wicked that at the point of harvest,
very wicked,
they make sure that you can't access your farm. They will now go and harvest what you have there. So the communities that are negotiating, it's not as if they are happy to do it.
Yes,
but
I agree, yeah.
Government is too preoccupied to say, okay, every hamlet, every village, that we have to get involved in how you are negotiating with these guys. I even think that by the time those boys see that government is trying to come in, they will not play ball.
They will come
in. All right, we have to leave it there.
But the important thing is, instead of this blame game, they need to find a way to work together. Okay. And security must not be politicized. It makes no sense to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining the gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the Sport X treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home.